Hey, what's up y'all? Talentscowt coming at you with another video. I am your host, Terrence Godfrey, and today I'm going to be telling you why I believe right now is the perfect time to get global entry, assuming you don't already have it. So I'm going to tell you what global entry is, what my process was like to get it, why I waited almost 2 years to do it, and yeah, let's hop right into this video. So what is global entry? Global entry is a program created by the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. So basically what it does is for low-risk travelers, after you go through a process, it allows you to skip all of that customs nonsense when re-entering the U.S. So you bring out your global entry card, which looks like this. Come on, focus. Yep, there you go, global entry card. So you just go to the kiosk, go through the global entry, and just get through within 45 seconds instead of waiting in that really long line, filling out those forms. It's like, oh, do you have drugs? No, I don't have any drugs. You sure you don't have? No, ma'am, we don't have any drugs. So yeah, low-risk travelers get through really quickly. Also, another added benefit to global entry, TSA Precheck. So for the people that are in the United States, ever since a certain day in 2001, going through TSA has been... well, yeah, it's been pretty awful, and you have to take off your shoes and your belt and your jackets and take the laptop and the iPad out of the carry-on bag and all the small liquid, whatever. So TSA Precheck's included with global entry, and basically what that lets you do is you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to take off your shoes, which is the main thing for me. Like, I'm a grown man, I've worked really hard. I'm not taking my shoes off when I want to fly anymore. So I now have TSA Precheck included with global entry. So really cool stuff. So here was my process on getting global entry. It all started, technically speaking, January 2017. So that's a very long time ago, like 4 years ago. It was one of the reasons why I got the Chase Sapphire Reserve, blah, 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 travel credit card. One of the perks was free global entry or TSA Precheck. It took me forever. I just didn't get around to it. Then eventually in May of 2019, I actually started filling out the little application to get my global entry, paid for the $100 fee. That's how much it costs, but the credit card reimbursed it. What's really cool about it, though, is global entry, it's good for 5 years. So, only $20 a year to not have to take off your shoes and to not have to do all that other extra stuff when coming back from a vacation or a trip. I would pay more than I would pay $20 a flight for that. So $20 a year. I mean, I only fly like once a year, but you know what? I would pay more than it costs, so totally worth it. So I do the process, which actually took a little while because they want to go super deep into your history. It's like, I forget everything because keep in mind, this was 2019. But I had one thing that really stood out. They wanted to know my entire employment and school history, like the entire thing, like no gaps, like when I started versus everywhere I've ever worked and all the time in between the places I worked, which it really got me to thinking. Like while I was doing that process, I was like, wow, was it really worth it being a summer school teacher those 2 summers? Because having to add those 2 extra things onto the process. It took a while, eventually got through. They did my background check, came back squeaky clean because, I'm a good noodle. And they're like, okay, come in for an interview. So I was like, okay, cool. So go there. I want to schedule my interview. Keep in mind this back in 2019. But right when it's time for me to schedule my interview, they went to a new process. It's like, oh, well, actually, since there's so much demand for these interviews, you can just do a walk-up appointment when you come back from an international trip. So there were a few opportunities for me to, do this coming back. But the thing is, when you're coming back for a trip, you already had to stand through that really long customs line. So at that point, it's like, oh, I'm tired. I just did all this vacationing and stood in this long line. I mean, I could think ahead and go do the thing right now and do the interview, but I'm like, I'm tired, I want to go home, so I just didn't do that several times, even though I had no real reason. There were several times that it really could have come in handy. For an example, early March 2020, right before quarantine, did like the land crossing coming back into the U.S. from Mexico, and that was like a 2-hour line, and literally we're watching the people that had the global entry just walk by. They had maybe like a 10-minute wait, and that's including like the mile-long walk, so good for them. I should have did it then. Oh well, didn't do it. But now we've got the card, so cool stuff. So after the virus and everything that's been going on, travel dropped. Not many people are thinking about their global entry and things like that, which is why I think right now is the best time to do it. I noticed just on the interwebs, I was like, wait a second, on my email. I just noticed I hadn't got an email from Global Entry saying, oh, do your appointment when you fly back in, blah, blah, blah thing. I was like, wait a second. I haven't seen this email. Like, I would normally get one like once a month. I haven't seen it in a couple months. Go on, check. They were doing in-person appointments again. And I was like, wait, what? And in my head, I was thinking like, okay, it's probably going to be like the old days. Like my closest major airport was San Francisco International. So it's like, it's probably going to be like a multi-month wait, like how, the good old days. No, they were doing same-day appointments. So check your airports or your global entry interview centers. They might have this as well. I was able to do a same-day appointment at SFO, one of the most busy airports in the world. So I was like, okay. So talking to a friend, what I'm noticing this, I'm like, wow, it's about 108, 109 maybe. I book an appointment for 5:45 the same day. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm finally going to do the thing. I finally do the thing, right? So I'm going to go head over to SFO. Only problem there is, got to cross the bridge, Bay Area toll crossings. They don't do the cash anymore. So I actually became a real Bay Area guy that day. I also got this thing, Fast Track, so I could just get across the bridge because tolls and it's a low-key a mess right now. Now it's not a mess since I got that. So yeah, go over SFO, get lost like I normally am. I normally leave early because I know I'm going to find a way to almost be late. I should have had about 30 minutes before my appointment. Didn't know where to park. Just driving around the airport. Finally found a place to park. Parks. Had to run. Literally made it like 46 seconds before my appointment. I run up. I'm like, hey, I'm Terrence. I'm here for my appointment. They hit me with, you're not on the list. I was just like, excuse me? Sir, you're not on the list. Like, well, I'm here for today. Well, I'm here and I don't see you. And I was like, okay. So I had to pull out my phone, log back in, show my appointment. I assume it's because they print out the list in the morning. I made my appointment in the middle of the day. Whatever. Everything was fine. Eventually, I found my little thingy, show them the confirmation. It's like, oh, well, sure looks like you're supposed to be here. All right, come on in. So I come on in, do my interview. So just sit down. I give them like my ID, all my fingerprints, lay your fingers down at the 4, get the thumb, the other 4, and they took a photo. Obviously it wasn't my best photo. Let you all see it again. Come on, focus. Oh, not this face. Focus on this face. See, he doesn't want to focus because, I was looking rough that day. It was before I got a haircut. Got a haircut a couple days ago. But yeah, so do that. And the only questions they actually asked me were, what do you do for a living? And I was like, well, I am a sales development representative at this company. Like, all right, cool. It's like, well, you haven't had any criminal history, right? Like, we check, we don't see anything. Has anything new happened? I was like, no, I'm just in the house, man. No crimes in there. He's like, all right. And I don't think they interviewed me very well because like when I watched videos before, people had like really intense interviews asking all the questions. But maybe I just have a squeaky clean record or just a sparkling personality. Like, you know what? Let's just let this guy through. So yeah, took the thing. My photo, and they're like, okay. It'll tell you if you're approved within about 48 hours. Literally before I walk back to my car. Actually, I'm still in the airport. I'm like maybe 150 feet away from the testing center. You've been approved. I'm like, dang. All right. So I'm pretty juiced now. Got some global entry. Gonna be able to cut some lines at TSA, not take off my shoes. That's the biggest thing. And yeah, do it now because travel is coming back. Like this year, I'm feeling real bullish. Like we're seeing the things going on in this country. Things are opening. I just have a hunch that people are going to be on the move and there's a lot of bent up demand for people to travel, after being stuck in the house for a year. I'm going to want to skip some lines. So yeah, that was my experience. That was my process. And yours can be a lot faster than mine since, you're not going to take a 1.5 year break between steps. But that's all I've got for you today. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.